welcome back once again. Hey everyone, welcome to the final part in this series of 3 videos. If you haven't watched the other 2 and you're interested, I'll leave a link at the top of the screen here somewhere about now. Just a shout out to my new subscribers, thank you very much, I am very grateful. If you feel that you want to subscribe once you've seen this, then please feel free to click the like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when my next video gets posted. I'm not going to bore you with detailing because the process here is more or less the same as you saw in the last 2 videos. One thing of note though is that I did make millions homeless while I was taking the capping off this wall. So basically the same process, placing the 1x6s on the wall just to check for positioning and everything else. Then it was a matter of checking the corners and cutting the board to length, and I had to remember to include the corner piece for the additional overhang, which I basically cut off with the circular saw because I was going to round it up later on. Quick clean up to satisfy the management, including myself, otherwise she does get upset. Then it was just a matter of marking where the end of the board's eventually going to be and marking between the inside edge and where the outside edge of the board is going to be for the mitre. And this was the finished product for that awkward double corner. The next day I had to make a start on the end part, and I realised at that point that there was very little point in me taking space away from these steps, so I decided to put the cladding directly on the wall. It made the most sense, and the reason I spaced it along the front edges was because of water build up behind it. Pretty mucky looking, so I scrubbed it all down with a wire brush to get a nice clean surface before I started messing about. There obviously is some damp there. I introduced up the first piece of cladding to check for the odd angles so that I could see where the end was likely to be, and it gave me an idea of what the angles were going to be that I needed to cut out of this thing to make it fit. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. At the end of the day it's just a trim at the end. Nobody's going to get on their hands and knees and look at it, but I wanted it to be fairly close so it's not obvious. So I was checking it for level, putting a line where the change in level needed to be to bring it actually level, and then made my marks using a parallel guide, and then I took them to the bandsaw in order to cut those small sections out. All that was left then was sanding and cleaning and more sanding and a bit of planing. There was so much sanding that actually the sander belt on my belt sander decided it was going to try and get away, and it cut the side clean out of my sander. I bought this cheap from one of the discount stores a long time ago, so I've had the use out of it. I then spent a bit of time rounding over the edges of the boards just to make it more comfortable if people want to sit on it or whatever. Long process, useful because at the end of the day it makes sure that the dogs aren't going to catch themselves on it or anything like that. This is the reason you don't buy cheap router bits. It got so hot that the bearings just melted and the ring came off. So, quick coat of paint, not quite as quick as this part of the video by the way. That section of the flower bed I'd been building around was unsightly. I'd been using it to nurse my seedlings, but I decided it would be better used if I put some plants on it and made it look a bit more attractive. So I dug it over, gave it a swift but quite severe spraying of Roundup. In fact, I used up what was left in that pot. I paid special attention to the edges, which is where the weed sheet is going to meet the brick and what have you. And obviously that's the weak spot where weeds can still poke through sometimes. I'll have to go around and periodically spray it anyway, I think. So I stole some of the gravel from the rest of my garden and filled that section in. I raked it all flat before bringing some of my potted plants over to decorate it. So all in all, not a bad job. From this to this to this. So this concludes the project, and some of you may say it dragged on a bit long. 3 episodes, I hadn't intended that. I hope you like the finished result. Just remember, it's not perfection you're after necessarily. Sometimes it's just the fact that you made it yourself. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment. Even if you didn't leave a comment, I read them all. I'd just like to give a quick plug out to my daughter who started her own channel, BB. Anyone who suffers from a skin condition really should check that out. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.